Hello, everybody. My name's James, and welcome to the final Planet FPL clash of the correspondents of the Premier League season. Let me introduce you to our two correspondents ahead of a key game in game week 38. Let me first introduce you to our Leeds correspondent, Andy Martin. How are you, Andy?
Hello, James. Nice to be here. Good to see you, Ricky.
Good man. And yeah, Andy's give it the big. And let me introduce you to our new Tottenham Hotspur manager, Arne Slot. Uh, it's not Arne Slot. It's Ricky Saunders. How are you, Ricky?
I am I'm as good as I can be on another day as a Tottenham fan. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, we're going to get on to the very eventful news with Tottenham that's just dropped just before we've started recording this. Very fortunately, I think, Ricky, we are recording this and posting pretty much straight away. Otherwise, we'd have been out of date.
Yeah.
Andy, let's start with yours, though. It's obviously a very precarious looking situation for you that's obviously out of your hands now going into Sunday.
Yeah.
How do you rate your chances of getting the positive result on Sunday and staying up?
I'm resigned to relegation, to be honest.
Done, finished?
Done, finished, yeah. We might win, but I think Everton and Leicester are likely to get a result. One of them's going to get a result. So I resigned myself. When we lost to West Ham, I thought that was it. It's done. Like, we're finished. If a miracle happens Sunday, then celebrations can start. But if I go into it Sunday thinking we're down, I won't be too disappointed because I think we are.
If I'm at Elland Road, well, I will be at Elland Road, and you pull it off and it looks like going into injury time that you're going to stay up, I'm going to start making my way to the exits because there's a definite pitch invasion coming on, isn't there?
Yeah, that would be mental. If we stay up, it will be mental. But
because I'm gonna be right near the front, by the way, so I'm getting out of dodge if that's the case. Do you think you can win Sunday? Not will you? Do you think you can win Sunday?
I mean, Spurs, do they want Europa Conference League football? Probably not. Do they even want to finish seventh and try to finish seventh? No. Are Spurs in a good place? No. So I think we've got a chance to win on Sunday, which gives us a chance. But again, I think the game could go either way. We're terrible defending. We keep conceding 3-4 goals a game. We do score, but the fact that Spurs have got Son and Kane firepower, I think, yeah, I don't hold out too much hope.
Ricky, neutral opinion. Which of the three, Leeds, Leicester, and Everton, who do you think's got the easiest fixture?
I'll be inclined to say that Leeds have, in all honesty, we haven't won outside of London since October. So little bit of
At least I've not done many away days this year, right?
Yeah, exactly. You haven't done about 16 days, mate. So yeah, at least Leeds fan can take a little bit of solace from that. It's a bit tricky to say. I mean, I suppose Everton on paper, home to Bournemouth, we've got nothing to play for. And Leicester home to West Ham, who maybe there's that cup final hangover. They're not going to want to be going all out. They've got cup final to play in. So Leicester as well. Leeds have definitely probably got the trickiest fixture. We have still got something to wait. Oh, Jesus, laptop slipping. We have still got something to aim for, whereas the other two haven't. But I would say Everton, easiest fixture, home to Bournemouth.
Just for the benefit of the audio listeners, Ricky's on his laptop in his car. Do you want to Ricky, just want to give the YouTube viewers a little tour of where you are?
Absolutely. I am in.
Why
I'm
not?
in.
You don't actually have to get out of your car.
No, but it's easier for me to show the laptop around. I'm in Waltham Abbey. I've just been auditing one of my sites. It's on a farm. It's a box at a farm, and yeah, look. So there we go. That's my surroundings. There we go. Lovely bit of scenery.
As ever, guys, cutting edge correspondent opinion as ever. But Ricky's giving us a guided tour of. It's actually your back garden, isn't it? Stop lying, mate.
Oh, I wish it was, mate.
That's the problem, though, isn't it, Andy? I think what Ricky's saying is it feels like Everton have got the best fixture.
Yeah, it's such a good fixture, Bournemouth at home. I mean, it's all geared towards that, isn't it? I think they're going to be well up for it. Goodison crowd. They're ahead on the dotted line. Like, to be above the dotted line on the final day is good. Knowing that you win, you stay up. I think if you could choose a team to be at home to, I think it'd be Bournemouth on the final day.
They'd be right near the top at the moment. Yeah, I mean, Neil Grover said that on Tuesday, COTC, that they're experimenting at the moment. But are they capable? Do you feel the pressure of, Everton will win? I mean, why are people assuming that Everton are going to win a football match, right, against It said, I've seen the bookies have got Everton as the best chance for clean sheet of all 20 Premier League teams this coming weekend.
Really?
That's
Wow,
not reality, really, though, is it? Surely.
You'd say it was. I mean, Bournemouth away hasn't been great, have they? And Everton with Dyche can get the 1-0 and shut up shop. And Bournemouth,
Ricky, any memories of
attacking.
Bournemouth away performances this year? Any memories, mate?
Yeah, I think they put in a rather decent one against us. 3-2.
Exactly.
They scored 3 goals. They didn't give up. You know, they didn't particularly have anything to play for that day, and they still played.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule Bournemouth out, Andy. I mean, you live down there, right? So you know them quite well as well. Are you not fancying them at all at Goodison?
I just think there's nothing for them to fight with it. Like if Everton take the lead and go 1-0 up, then what's Bournemouth's motivation to try and equalise, get a winner? It's kind of like, yeah, fine. Let's enjoy the party at Goodison. Everyone's happy. Bournemouth fans are loving life because they're staying in the league. Everton are winning. That's the place to be for a party, isn't it, on Sunday?
Is the Leicester draw at Newcastle definitely made it worse for you? That feels logical to say yes, but it just changes the mindset for Everton a little bit, doesn't it? Whereas if they'd lost, Everton would have gone into the game almost definitely thinking a draw is enough. Now they're probably going to be conscious of thinking, shit, have you got a win going into the game? So you might flip it that way for you, know?
Yeah, that's true. They have to win. And it gives Leicester hope as well. So you think that Leicester go all out to try and win. So for both of them to slip up, it's just, can't see it really.
To clarify the situation, an Everton draw and a Leicester failure to win, Leeds could still stay up, but it would mean having to beat my team and Ricky's team by 3 or more. Are you capable of that?
No, I wouldn't say so. We scored 1 goal and seemed to retreat previously. I just think it's. I was annoyed the way at West Ham where it was kind of where we were 1-0 up and looking good, and then we just retreated as we always do, waiting for the other team to score. Our defenders are shit. I mean, it's just a matter of time before the other team score, and then it's just kind of, oh, okay, now we need to try and win again. And then it gets messy, and then we ended up conceding 2 more, which always seems to be the case at the moment.
So are you talking about Leeds or Tottenham?
Yeah,
because that could be a description of both.
Ricky, I was going to say, you've seen Tottenham take any hidings away from home recently.
And Spurs started well as well, didn't they? Into Brentford and stuff. A similar game, really.
Looks
Andy,
really
we just lost 3-1 to Brentford as probably our best performance in ages. So
I watched the first half. I thought Spurs are decent that first half hour, but similar to Leeds, I thought on Sunday we showed real positivity against a lethargic West Ham, and for some reason we just took our foot off the gas and retreated, and then didn't continue to try and get that second goal. And the win on Sunday would have been absolutely massive to be above Everton going into the final day. That changes it completely. You think then, okay, we could beat Spurs and stay up. We just need to be above that dotted line on the final day, and it's not happened.
I can't recall a situation where someone's been behind like yourselves going into final day, and there actually being expectation that a team would get out of it. It seems like a common belief, which I think is very dangerous for Everton. Like a common belief that Everton will do the job.
Yeah.
Who's to blame, Andy, if you go down? Is it a collective? Is there something that's a failure that has meant Leeds are in this position again?
I would kind of, I mean, people are going to say the board, and I would kind of blame the fans for getting on the board's back in January.
Bloody hell, Andy, you want to upset your fan base? Jesus.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I just thought the board were put under so much pressure to get rid of Marsh, and I didn't necessarily agree with it. You saw it at Forest back in January when we lost, but played really well. And Jesse Marsh you could see a structure, see a way of playing. The board made signings to suit Jesse Marsh, and then to get rid of him under fans' pressure because we hadn't had a few good results, but the performances are there. Then it became messy. Then the board panicking, didn't know what the future was, like switching things all the time. Gracia didn't work out. Then the players lose confidence, nothing's going right. The Melié's like a little boy in goal. Just because maybe the fan pressure, but everything is just like Bamford's lost confidence again. He's someone that gets quite anxious with fans and stuff, and it doesn't help his performance. it's just a collective of everything. I think that has just culminated in Big Sam coming in 4 games to go, the board in a mess, the board being changed as we speak. Like it's so messy, and perhaps the relegation and the reset might actually help us, because I think we got a great young squad. We've got players who went in the Championship who I think shouldn't have been put on loan, like Cody Drama at Luton. Been amazing, and I think I really want him back. Charlie Cresswell at Millwall, been brilliant for them this season. And these are young players that I think could do a job for us in the Championship. So if we get all these loan players back, start integrating some of the players that have done well for the under-20s, then relegation with a new board, new managers, could reset things. I think we might have a decent season next year.
I think that the Jesse Marsh is, on reflections, very much split people, because I think people can probably see now, like, is it any better off? No, but it's also hindsight to say that. I was very much of the opinion that I thought it was very dangerous, because I could see something was happening. That said, when you look at the 11 points gained between that Chelsea victory in game week 3 to that defeat at Nottingham Forest, which was game week 22, it's 11 points over, what is that, 18 fixtures or so, because I think there's one postponed in there. That, it was the results, wasn't it? It was the results ultimately that pushed him out the door. And when he was on the fringes of it, like when he went to Anfield and won, which remarkably, that's 3 of those points that were in there. Is that your chef, Andy?
Yeah, that's all right. It's my dad. It's my dad just looking after dogs.
When you won at Anfield, everyone was like, "Oh, writing's on the wall. They're going to leave him Liverpool," and then he sacked afterwards. Then you won at Liverpool. Then you beat Bournemouth. You very nearly won at our place as well. Should have. You were really unfortunate. We were 3-2 up with 10 minutes to go and lost. Then it was almost like a positive feeling going into the World Cup. Rodrigo and Somerville were doing well and returning and stuff. And then it felt like, right, go again after the World Cup. Then the results didn't improve again over a sustained period. Ultimately, you got sacked because of results. I agree with you that I think there was a split between what people were thinking on the outside, and Leeds fans know their club better. They were at the game going, you could see that apathy in the away end, like, enough now.
Yeah.
And that's why they changed it. How do you reflect on the Javi Gracia period, though? Because not only did they sack Marsh, it felt like whoever they wanted or thought they were going to get, they didn't. There was this, your owner come out and was like, yeah, white smoke in the morning, and 7 days later you were like still waiting for a manager and stuff. It was messy, wasn't it?
It was so messy, and to not have a plan in place. I think it was like, was it 4 weeks until we got Gracia in? Of just
it was longer than in the morning, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just, didn't know what we were going to do. And then in the end, it was like, oh, Gracia's available. That will do a job. He's done a job before in the Prem. See if that works out. And it's completely different to how Marsh was. It's not like a transition. It's just like, okay, Gracia's a pragmatic guy, and we've got these players who aren't going to work well in the system. Nonto was phased out after that. Yeah. I mean, Gracia probably wasn't. I thought at the start perhaps he could grind out results, and he was kind of doing that at the start, but then he couldn't maintain it.
No, and the Liverpool and Palace home games were embarrassing in the end.
Yeah, the Palace second half was just a joke, and that was the end of him really. After that game, it was just disgusting to watch.
Ricky, do we feel, Ricky, that Leeds are one of the 3 worst teams in this league?
Yeah, probably, if I'm being honest. The results-wise, obviously, there's just been a lack of leadership, I think, from the top, which has translated down to the players. We've actually got some good players, and on players available, you wouldn't put Leeds in one of the worst 3 teams. But the lack of leadership from the top, like the managerial comings and goings, that Leeds' season has been ruined by the board, not by the players. And not even by the managers, really. They've been put in a bit of a tricky situation, really. But it's been ruined by the club. But on results on the pitch, yeah, definitely. But not playing staff. They're better than where they are as individual players and as what the team is capable of.
That fair, Andy?
I wouldn't say that. I think looking at the players we've got decent individuals. Certainly missed Tyler Adams. I think he was great. That was one of our best signings. But then you look at the other players, and I'm not sure. I mean, I would say our defence is the worst in the league, even probably worse than Southampton's.
Well, your defensive record suggests that 74 goals conceded. Bournemouth next worst conceded 70. The irony is the two highest scorers from the teams in the bottom half are Leeds and Leicester.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So for both teams, it's fairly obvious why you're in trouble. It's the defensive stuff rather than the offensive stuff. Because that was the hope watching that Marsh team was like Nonto, Somerville, Sinistera, there's good young attacking players here. There's got to be something here. You add in a Rodrigo and a Bamford, etc. Tyler Adams has been a really big miss for you the last sort of 2 months or so. You're like, there's a making of something here, but defensively, it's like you were always defensively in trouble under Bielsa because the chaos you played with. But then you strip the chaos away and the defensive problems were still there.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's lack of confidence. I mean, you start conceding loads of goals and then it kind of spirals, and there wasn't any leadership in the back particularly. Like Cooper is the captain, and again, he wasn't really playing games or getting himself fit when we needed him, and there wasn't much leadership, I don't think, in the back line. I think Struijk and CotC are quite quiet, and Firpo and Ayling.
That's why Gracia brought Cooper back in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, to give a bit of steel in that defence. Bit of mouth in there to try and shore things up. But yeah.
Okay. Ricky, do you want Thursday night football or not?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely. It's no, the competition has been a bit derided by a lot of people, us included, in all honesty. But it's a chance to go and win something, and we've had precious little of that. I would imagine if we got into that, we would enter it as favourites, or at least one of the 2 or 3 favourites. So yeah, why not? Why not indeed? And you don't have to play a full strength team every week. You don't want to do what we did last time. Making 8, 9, 10 changes, a few tweaks here and there. Blood some youth players as well. Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity.
Thought you were going to say do what we did last time and not turn up for a football match.
Well, that didn't help, obviously.
That wasn't our fault. We did get a bit shafted in terms of being thrown out of that competition, but yeah, it is what it is. You're quite right. I mean, whether it was Tottenham or Villa end up in the Conference League, we now know with certainty after last night that Brighton will definitely be in the Europa League. And I should add Brentford. I mean, to be honest, even if it was Brentford were the team that got into the Conference League, they'd be one of the favourites to go and win it, just because some of the West Ham have got to the final and they haven't played a team from Europe's top 5 leagues, right? And that's not to belittle anything West Ham have achieved. Good luck to them in the final. But it's not been a difficult route. You are very capable of having a good draw and breezing all the way through it. Yeah. Like, you put Leeds in it, they could do very well in it. And it's not meant disrespectfully at all. So yeah, I would absolutely want to be in it. Do you think we will, Ricky?
It's out of our hands, James. It's do I think we'll beat Leeds? Yes, I think we'll do our part. But I think Villa will get what they need.
There feels like some irony for me in relying on Roberto De Zerbi to do me a favour on the final day of the season.
Brighton's job now. They've achieved. They've overachieved on their season's targets. They've secured European football. They don't need to win. Even in important games, we know that De Zerbi's not afraid to chop and change that team. Drop big players. He did it again last night. So I don't expect to see a full strength Brighton out, and Villa, as we know, are a difficult team to beat. They play some good football, and I expect Villa to win.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think the same at the moment. I also wouldn't rule out Brentford beating Manchester City. I guess it depends how we're relying on Manchester City and Brighton not to turn up pissed basically at the weekend, aren't we?
City have got 2 really big fixtures coming up, and the Brentford game isn't one of them. So there was going to be a lot of rotation for that one. How hungry are them players that are going to come in?
How shit is it going to be during the second half if the game's level at Elland Road and Villa are losing to Brighton and the draw's enough for Tottenham to get in the Conference League, and say Everton are losing to Bournemouth? How shit is that going to be? I can almost envisage that.
Yeah, I know as a Tottenham fan, that Brighton will go and spank Villa, City
And
will
we'll get
spank
beat.
Brentford, and we'll get beat. Yeah, everybody will do us a favour, and we will be the ones that let ourselves down. We've seen that play out a few times.
You mentioned though, Ricky, you think we probably will win Sunday.
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah.
Is that because of us or because of them?
Um, we will always score goals, and we've got a pretty horrific defence, but Leeds' defence is worse than ours. So yeah, it's going to be. I reckon that there's going to be some goals in there. We'll concede, they'll concede, but I think in the end we'll have a little bit too much, and it's going to be a 3-2 or a 4-2, something like that. There's going to be plenty of goals, but we will score.
That's going to get people interested in Harry and stuff. The last two game week 38 games Tottenham have played have scored 9 goals.
Yep.
And they were both away games, 4 at Leicester, who were going for the Champions League on that afternoon, and obviously 5 at Norwich final day last season. And traditionally, we've had you on, Ricky, ahead of these games, so there was no way you wasn't coming on for this one. Harry Kane in your FPL team?
That's my biggest kind of quandary. I'm in a very fierce battle at top of my mini league. There's 2 points in it. I'm 2 points ahead of my main rival. And I am thinking about selling Haaland for Kane. I don't think Haaland's got to play. But Pep, God knows.
Why do you think he won't play?
He's got a Champions League final, FA Cup final to play for. Is Pep gonna risk his golden boy getting an injury in a meaningless game ahead of a Champions League final and FA Cup?
Well, I don't know. He did last night, didn't he?
I actually I spoke to someone about this the other day, and I said if Haaland played last night, or I said if Haaland plays in a couple of nights, I don't think he'll play at the weekend. He's got to give them some game time because it's a week until the next game. But I don't think he's gonna play them. And look, this is me guessing though, so that's just my thoughts. I thought Haaland would play one of the two, and he's played last night.
Agree with that, Andy?
I do. I didn't think Haaland would play last night. I thought they might keep him 38 and give him like rhythm for the cup final and have got like a week off Sunday to Sunday. So I was surprised he played last night and played so many minutes last night. And the fact he did, perhaps now he does get the rest and maybe comes on like last 15 to get some minutes in his legs. So yeah, I wouldn't say selling Haaland is a bad thing this week.
My opinion would be that Haaland would play Sunday, actually. But I'm going to guess, Ricky, then you've just talked yourself into it, haven't you? Haaland to Kane. Armband as well.
If you're going to bring Kane, you've got to give him the armband, yeah.
Have you?
Game week 38, it's always a tricky one. You're never too sure who's going to start. We know that Kane's going to start. We know he's going to get 90 minutes, and we know he's playing one of the worst defenses in the league. Home and away, Kane will score. So I think Kane is a really safe bet for captaincy.
Yeah, I almost think the fact it's away is almost more attractive, and the fact that Leeds know they've got to win as well. But then you look at Mo at Southampton. Yeah,
he's obviously another great captain shout. The only downside with that is that Liverpool don't have a lot to play for. I think Champions League. I think it is gone now, isn't it? I think, or maybe they could
United need
big
a point.
swing.
United need a point.
So it's virtually gone. So they haven't got a massive amount to play for. But look, Kane's been on better form than Mo. So if you're going on form, you'd probably still pick Kane. And you say being away from home, it's going to be better because the atmosphere is going to be less toxic than it is at home. That really turned on Saturday. That was a different level. Now we're seeing it really ramp up, and we know Leeds need to win, so they're going to be attacking, and that's going to leave gaps.
Andy, Harry Kane owner?
No, but I am considering it.
Really?
I'm thinking, yeah, I am. I don't think Haaland will play particularly. I don't think he'll start. Like Ricky said, he's just played 90 minutes. To go again on Sunday, I can't see it. So I might do Haaland to Kane and give him the armband. If Liverpool can't get top 4, I don't really particularly want to captain Salah, even though I'll probably just own him. That'd be fine. So I think Kane's a good captain shout. And I think I might take a punt on Rodrigo, because I think we'll always score as well. And if we're going for it, Rodrigo.
What's his fitness status, Andy? Do we know at the time of
Yeah,
recording?
there's talk he might be patched up and good to go Sunday. But
It's probably
Bamford's
going to need to be, isn't he? Because Bamford, I assume, is going to be
Bam,
out, is he?
yeah, Bamford's out. Yeah. So Rodrigo as the number 9 when we need goals could be a decent shout.
Yeah, it's very attractive. I feel like the three of us are probably all in agreement that this game feels like, even though there's something at stake, it does feel like it could be 3-2 or something like that, one way or the other. It does have that vibe. I don't think any of us are recommending Leeds or Tottenham defensive assets, but is Rodrigo definitely the one then, Andy? If he's given the all clear.
So I mean, I think Jack Harrison's looked great.
Okay.
He's the one standout last few months. I think he's back to his best. And if you want an even more extreme punt, Jack Harrison, I think he'll start. I think he'll do quite well. But Rodrigo's the one who's out of position on Sunday probably.
Yeah, Rodrigo 6.3, Harrison 5.7. Harrison actually does have more FPL points now than Rodrigo, but hasn't returned in his last 4. In fact, looking back to your victory at home to Nottingham Forest, which was part of the game with 29 double, Andy, he started every game. There's 1 assist in there. And also the last 3 games under Allardyce, his minutes have been 64, 63, and 61. That's a bit nervous as well. Why is he being taken off?
Somerville to come on. I mean, fresh legs, I guess, isn't it? But I wouldn't have subbed him off particularly. And I think if we need the win and going for it, I can't see Harrison coming off this time.
What do you think the starting lineup be Sunday then, Andy?
I think it'll be Robles in goal, Ayling, left back, Strouk again.
Even though Firpo will be back from suspension, right?
He will be. Yeah, maybe Firpo. Vober and Koch. Rocker. McKennie's been poor as well. McKennie's been awful, I think. Real letdown. There's no permanent signing for him. He's going back.
He's been playing Christensen at centre back. That's felt a little bit weird. And playing Koch in front of that, was that still the case at West Ham on Sunday?
Yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, Christensen was just flying in everywhere. There's no real offensive shape at that. It's just kind of people trying to throw their bodies on the line, and it's not well set.
So front three. So if you've got, so what would we have in front of that? Greenwood would play or not?
I think Greenwood might come in.
Okay.
I think Sam actually likes him. He's given him quite a few minutes. I think Greenwood probably does start. But then he might go. I wouldn't say Nonto starts. B. Harrison, Rodrigo, Sinistera's out. So does Aronson come in? Maybe, I don't know.
Brad would like to see Nonto, wouldn't they?
Yeah, perhaps it is Nonto then. Perhaps Nonto one side, Harrison the other with Rodrigo. Sinistera, Bamford are out. Yeah,
could be. What we made of Robles in goal.
Meslier was shot. Confidence was absolutely beat. So it had to be done. Robles is fine. He's not good, but Meslier needed the break.
Ricky, go on and put it Spurs line up the weekend. Are we expecting a Make-A-Wish Roberto De Zerbi copycat again as we got on Saturday, which actually was quite interesting. Actually,
it was. It's the most entertained I've been by a Tottenham team in quite a while. To be fair,
it's because we tried to play like Brighton, just not to the same level.
Yeah, there's there's a message there to the chairman.
I'm hoping, Ricky. I'm still hoping.
Yeah, you and me both, mate. But we both know it's the hope that kills you. I don't really know what to predict for Mason because he's made quite a few changes. He's tried different styles, different systems. So I don't really know. My gut feeling is that he would have looked at the first half against Brentford and thought he'll go again with that because it did work and we did look good and we entertained and we scored the goal. So I'd say pretty much unchanged, really. Maybe Sanchez coming out.
Yeah, but that'd be if Romero was fit. As much as I've been critical of him, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, same again, really. And that's what I would actually do if I was in this position. I'd go same again because it did look good.
So no Pedro Porro. Because that feels like one, if it shifted back to a back three again and Porro played, feels like the sort of one that's probably an interesting last day punt that people would
Yeah.
have interest in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go for anything defensive from us, but if you've got Porro, you stick, and if you really are hell bent on getting a Tottenham defender, then that would be the one that you went for. He can cause Leeds a lot of problems if he plays.
I don't think he does though, does he?
No, I don't think so.
I think as well in terms of where Leeds' biggest threats are, it probably is the wide players. If you've got the likes of Harrison, Nonto, I just think Emerson will play. So I could only see Porro playing if he plays ahead of Emerson, which means shoving the
As a lot of
system
people,
again.
yeah, yeah, and Emerson, as surprising as it might sound, is our best defender, despite the grief he's been getting this season.
I won't disagree with that comment in terms of actual defensive
Yeah.
attributes. Any love for a Kulusevski, a Danjuma punt, Ricky?
Danjuma, no, unless I was sure he was going to start. I like Danjuma, and I think it's criminal that we haven't played him more than what we have. I mean, that was his first start at the weekend. That's wrong. We brought him into the club for a reason. We haven't used him. If he's going to start, I like Danjuma. I really do. Kulusevski, no. He's only really showed anything to me when he's come off the bench and he's added a bit of energy. I think since the World Cup, I don't know what if it's
He's not been at his
confidence,
best.
if it's no, not at all, not in the slightest.
I'd be very surprised if Kulusevski didn't start, unless, like I said, if he goes to back three, then there's a chance he brings Richarlison back in like he did at Villa. But I don't think he will. I think Kulusevski probably will start. And I think there's a fair chance Danjuma might start as well. Danjuma's 6.1. I'm not as high on him as you are, though. I'm not convinced at all.
No, okay.
No, I'm not, to be honest. I don't see enough there where I'd want the club to make that a permanent transfer. Sonny, we know will play, Ricky. Is there any case to go him over Kane? I'm just thinking if Bruno Fernandes was the blank tonight, there might be a few people thinking they want to bomb that out before the weekend. Couple of million spare. Sonny's a player most won't be able to get to, right?
Yes, not someone that I can get to unless I get rid of Salah. So for me, Sonny is a no-go. But he's interesting. He's looked more lively in games recently. Obviously, he's got some attacking returns. I wouldn't put anybody off of him necessarily because, as I said, I think there'll be goals in this game, and I mean, Leeds are going to be presumably attacking a lot. There's going to be gaps, going to be holes, and it will be Sonny that exploits them. But
Ricky,
I
go on, Matt.
no, that's I can't transfer Sonny out when I've been doing it for Salah, who's at home to Southampton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most can't get there.
Yeah.
Some might be able to, though. And, talking about differentials at the end, he's interesting. If Leeds overcommit, I think we'd seen that in some of the heavy defeats, haven't we, Andy? Like in terms of getting done on the counter near the end when you're chasing.
Yeah,
it feels like a potential dream for Sonny if you end up in that situation.
Well, the West Ham game as well, could have been 4-1 turned into 5-1. The way it was just a mess at the end, and it has been like that previously. So,
can you believe Sam Allardyce is manager of your football club?
I hate it. I really hate the guy. Like, I see him on the touchline. I don't want to see him there. It makes me angry. It made me angry at a point. I didn't want to even talk about it because I think he's such a twat. But to be honest, I think
he even tried to bribe the fourth official at West Ham, mate.
Yeah, he put it in his pocket. He'd probably buy something for himself where other managers give it to charity. But yeah, he's that kind of guy, isn't he?
I take it there's been no chance of him staying on.
No, you better not do. Because I think...
Why is the dislike so strong? Is it the brand of football? Is it him?
No, it's him. It's him. I thought, maybe he might keep us up. He might change things around. He has done with other clubs. It's just, as a person, I don't like that. I don't like him at all. He's money orientated. He's greedy. He's old school. It's not a manager you want to see at your club.
Well, there's some good news, Ricky. Big Sam might be available for us, mate, because it's not going to be Arnie Slot after the news this morning saying that he wants to stay at Feyenoord. Good luck to him. I can't say I blame him, in all honesty. It is a mess now, isn't it? Again.
Read the breaking news to you, James, that you may not have seen. Tottenham did not progress their interest in Feyenoord boss Arne Slot because of a disagreement about the terms of his buyout clause. So we haven't got him because Levy is a fucking tight bastard.
Oh, no comment, mate. I mean, on our Tottenham Patreon podcast yesterday, I said that if Tottenham had to pay 6-10 million, if that's who they identified, then just pay it.
Do you know, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive. When I first heard that he had a buyout clause as low as 6 million, I thought, "Fuck, that's a bargain." But that's nothing.
If that's the manager you want, yeah.
And you know, the money in football now, it's to 99% of the public, but it's not a lot in football terms. And if that's what it costs, go and get him. Seriously, what are we pissing around at?
Who do you want, Ricky?
Well, you know who I want.
No, I don't.
I want De Zerbi, but that's not going to happen.
Did you see De Zerbi's interview with Tony Bloom on the pitch last night?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch the game last. Or didn't see the end of the game.
That's not happening, mate.
No, it's not.
And to be honest, they'd have to pay. If not going to pay for slot, they'd have to pay for De Zerbi, right? So if that's legitimate, that they're not prepared to pay a buyout clause, then you could rule De Zerbi out in any case as well.
Yep.
So, who do you want?
James, I don't know. Because all of the people that, you know, we're not going to get Poch now. We're not going to get Slot. Alonso has committed himself to his job. Who else is there that I know about? I mean, there'll be much bigger football brains out there that know of some really good managers. But of all the people that I've heard or that I know about, they've all either said no or not no to us directly, but said they're staying where they are. So you're left with essentially Graham Potter or Brendan Rodgers or Big Sam. So I suppose of what's left that is available, because we're not going to spend any money, clearly.
Big Sam.
Yeah.
The name being mentioned in the last hour is Ange Postecoglou of Celtic.
It'll cost money, so that's a no-no. Look, I don't know a lot about him. A mate of mine who's a big Tottenham fan, he raves about him, and he thinks he'd be brilliant. I don't know enough about him to comment on that. I know that there's probably a tie-in with Scott Munns. They've worked in similar parts of the world, so
yeah,
that would lend some weight to that. Before we got Nuno, when we went through that whole the similar situation we're going through now between Mourinho and Nuno, I was firmly on Potter, and so I look, he's available. I don't think he's the right man at the right time, but he'll probably be the person that we maybe try and persuade next.
Spalletti might be available now. It's fallen out with Napoli, isn't it? Might be a name that gets mentioned. But you know what? I'm tired of looking. It's like I was discussing it yesterday, saying, oh, okay, starting to do a little bit of digging on Arne Slot, and you go, actually, this sounds all right. It's similar to, I did a bit of digging on Paulo Fonseca 2 years ago, and it was like, oh, I don't know. And then you start researching and you go, actually, it might be quite fun. And then they decided to go for Gattuso, didn't they? And it's like, just started looking into Slot, and okay, right, he's staying again, because you just got to the point where you thought, okay, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered to go and research Postecoglou or something. I'm wasting my. So once he's holding up the shirt, fine, look into it and stuff. I can't bother. It's just mentally draining to go through this again like 2 years ago. I'm
out now. We'll get who we get. It'll be tomorrow, next week, next month, whatever it's going to be. Poch has been the favourite. Arne Slot's been the favourite. Nagelsmann's been the favourite. I think for a very short time, Alonso was the favourite. The bookies, who you normally rely on, they've got no more of an idea than I have. You know, and when they're puzzled, do you know what? I'm going to sit back, and I'll wait for it to happen. I don't care anymore. It's we'll get someone, and we'll do our best to get behind him once he's in.
Andy, got any names you want to throw into the hat for Tottenham? Pick us a name you think would be good for the Tottenham job.
I mean, I like Graham Potter. I think he'll do a good job. He can do something right. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Do you think you could look at a calibre of someone like that? Even if the worst happens?
Well, there's been talk about Rodgers, but I like the latest rumours that we've got about Gerrard with Gary McAllister as like the assistant. I
You
think
know,
that
every
could work
Aston
quite
Villa
well.
fan just laughed, don't you?
Yeah, but Championship, I think Gerrard and McAllister knows the club, but they've done well at Rangers and stuff, and I think they have managed in the Championship as well. I don't mind that particularly.
Okay, it's an interesting one. I think Villa have only scored 2 more goals than you this season. You know that, Andy.
Yeah, I don't mind Gerrard. I think he's all right. I think he'd do a good job.
Okay, before we finish up, I want to talk about the owners briefly a little bit. Andrea Radrizzini looks like he's buying Sampdoria. Is that correct, Andy?
Looks like that way, yeah.
And
Going that way.
you're then selling yourselves to basically the San Francisco 49ers?
Well, they got nearly the majority stake in it anyway, so it's just if that goes, 49ers would just take the remaining stake of it.
And relegation won't impact that, no?
No, it will just carry on as previous. We're looking for a director of football. I know that we've looked at a few names from the Championship sporting directors, like Norwich one. I think someone called Webber, is it, or something? I don't know. There's a few names up in the air, but yeah, it looks like new owners, new structure, new sport director. I'm prepared for the reset relegation and hopefully play some youngsters and actually win some games, to be honest.
Does relegation feel disastrous?
I thought it would have done like a few months ago because of the money we spent and the wages on certain players. But then looking at it, we might get a decent fee for Nonto if he goes back to Italy. Rocco's probably going back to Spain and Betis. So we might get some money in there. Bamford, I don't think will stick around. But then the others, who wants them?
Rodrigo would have takers, definitely.
You say that, his age though, isn't it? He's, what, 32 now, is he?
I still think he'd have takers.
Perhaps.
Even if it was a small transfer fee, he'd have takers.
Yeah, maybe. But we've got players like Aronson, I think, sticking around.
Harrison was strongly linked with Leicester, ironically, wasn't he? In January. So, yeah,
I can see Harrison going.
Most of your offensive players are interesting. Like some of it would have interest and stuff. Sinistera would have interest. So I think a lot of the offensive players said, I mean, you spent 30 million on Jorginho Ruta, right? When we've hardly seen him, and he did scream out that defense obviously needed improvement rather than that area of the team. Because even with Bamford injured, he's not playing Sunday, is he, Ruta?
No, I think I said that at the time, didn't I? I think Ruta for 30 million was a joke in an area we didn't need. Why don't you just spend that money on a centre back, like a really good centre back?
But Ricky, are you in the Levy in, out, shake it all about? What you in? Are you going down to White Lane in August with your purple and yellow UKIP scarf?
No, I will not be going down to protest. No, we spoke about Levy before. I was until fairly recently quite a big Levy fan. I appreciate everything that he has done for the club as a whole, not for what's on the pitch necessarily. But as I said to you,
thanks for freezing, Ricky.
This
is what happens when you record in a car, mate.
Levy's not gonna. We can't force Levy out the clip. Am I back now?
Yeah, keep talking, mate.
Cool. Yeah, as I said to you and your dad, we're not going to get Levy out. Levy doesn't need to go. It doesn't really matter what I want. He's not gonna go anywhere unless someone comes in with a really, really big suitcase of money. And as I also said, I'm really not convinced whether Levy's a problem anyway. Levy is a minority shareholder in the company that owns Tottenham. How much of his strings are being pulled by Joe Lewis? I don't know that. You don't know that. So is Levy? We can replace Levy as chairman, but if the same strings are being pulled by the same person, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So once again, what will happen. But there's no point in these protests because Levy's not going to go anywhere. The man's company owns the bloody club.
Levy's the face. That's why he gets targeted rather than Joe Lewis. Most people don't know what Joe Lewis looks like.
No, Levy is the face of ENIC. He doesn't own ENIC. He's a minority shareholder in the company. He's just the man placed in charge of that particular area of the business, and he runs the business exceptionally well. He's a businessman, and we are the best run club in the Premier League, hands down. But he needs
financially.
to come and run the football. But financially, we're second to none. But I'd say I don't know how much of it is him with the play and stuff. But maybe Joe Lewis has turned around and said, "No, you can't give 6 million Friday slot. Find someone cheaper." That might not be Levy's decision. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't know who to. That's the problem, James.
it's
I don't know who to blame.
it's very fresh news, but if that is true that they've kind of balked at the paying the compensation, if that's who they wanted, then that's staggering.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's inept.
But it's not surprising because we've seen that kind of thing before.
Do you think Harry Kane will stay?
Yes.
Do you, Andy, as a neutral?
Wow. Okay. I thought this would be his last game on Sunday for Spurs. Personally,
It might be.
yeah, I would.
We're aware he might be.
I would say it is. I mean, this is the time he's got to move. Otherwise, it becomes too old, doesn't it? This is the summer he's got to move.
Ricky, Levy is going to have an absolute war if he sells him, isn't he?
Yeah.
But also the summer you get money for him, right? As well, you don't get money for him next year, do you?
Well, this is the flip, isn't it? We won't pay 6 million compensation, but he's also probably not going to take 80 to 100 million for Harry Kane either, is he? So it doesn't add up.
I'll caveat what I said. If we make the Conference League, Harry Kane will stay. If we don't, he may go.
So Sunday's that big then?
So yeah, I think so. Harry Kane, he was very, very public about his comments about respecting competitions, and he made particular reference to the Conference League. And he, like everybody else, recognises that is a real chance of silverware, and he can actually achieve his dream of getting a medal with Tottenham. And if we're in that competition, I 100% convinced he will stay. If we're not, then it's open to whether Levy will prepare to sell him or not. Levy could force him for another year. You got 1 year left. Let's see. Harry Kane or his agent may push it, may not. But if we qualify, he will stay.
I agree with that bit. I just cannot foresee how Daniel Levy can sell him.
Not without. I mean, it's starting.
It's already got like really ugly. It's gonna get extremely ugly,
mate. You'll see Levy doing a Mike Ashley, mate, and staying away from games if that's the case. He won't be welcome.
It might get to that point. Yeah. What a lovely way to finish the podcast.
Yeah. I just want to not advocating violence. Please don't think I am. I'm not purple and UKIP, whatever.
Well, Sudge would, so I wouldn't worry about it. Andy, I hope you go down. That sounds horrible.
It's fair.
My team's in a position. So obviously if you stay up, then my team's definitely lost. But I do wish you the very best of luck, mate. Leeds fans, don't kill me for that comment, right? I'd come and say hello if you see me on Sunday.
Most Leeds fans are resigned to it that we're down already. It's a very slim chance it's gonna happen on Sunday.
I wish you luck, mate. Correct score prediction.
Madness, like you said. 3-3.
Wow. Ricky?
4-2.
So?
Tottenham.
Jeez. All I know is it ain't going to be 0-0.
No,
it will be now.
Listen, if Brentford and Villa lose, I'll sign that now. I'm okay with that, mate. I cannot foresee it. It's two of the worst defenses in the league. Both teams are obviously far better going forward than defensively, and both have got to win. I don't physically see how it probably can be. This feels like it could go off. It might not. I would suggest, particularly if you scored first, Andy, then it might not. You might do what you said, retreat. And actually, as much as we've got attacking threat, we do struggle to break down low blocks. So I think if you score first, then it might not be. If we score first, I think it could be ridiculous.
But then we need to try and get to 3-0, don't we? To try and, if Everton are drawing.
Well, yeah, you might be in that position as well. That's so true.
So we can't retreat if we see Everton Bournemouth is still drawing and we need to score 3.
Yeah. Yes.
It's madness. I think it's going to be madness on Sunday.
Yeah. 3-2 to us. Sod it. It's the final day. I'll back my team to win. Yeah, it could be an absolute car crash. Based on what we're saying, maybe I need to revisit this and be considering Harry Kane more myself as well. Maybe even look at Sonny as well. I think Rodrigo's the one, and if he's past fit, I think that's a really good bet this week, particularly if Romero was ruled out for Tottenham. Because if it's Sanchez at the back, there's no way we're keeping a clean sheet either, are we, Ricky?
Well, I don't think we're going to keep it clean no matter who we put there. We always find a way to concede a goal or three.
I mean, you fancy a penalty if Romero was playing though as well, wouldn't you? And Rodrigo's on pen, so.
I don't see what difference Romero or Sanchez play makes to that, mate. So yeah, quite possibly. Andy, where can everyone follow you on the bird at, mate?
It's FPL_tactician.
Good stuff. Ricky?
Ricky Saunders, 77.
Good man. If you'd like to have a beer with me and Andy Martin, we'll be having a beer somewhere together in Bournemouth on Monday, June the 19th, when England play North Macedonia. We'll have details of that. Anyone's welcome. It's just going to be a meet up in a pub somewhere. If someone lives on the South Coast and wants to join us for a drink. Ricky, I'd like to personally thank you for getting me home basically from Villa last week and sitting in that car park and suffering for 2 hours. Thank you so much for that.
It was a pleasure.
There is one more clash of the correspondents to go next week. Manchester Derby Cup final. Johnny Pringle, Gary Robinson, Manchester City versus Manchester United be available for you next Friday ahead of the FA Cup final. But just leaves me to say thank you so much to Andy and to Ricky. Good luck this weekend, gents. Ricky, say it.
Come on, Tottenham.
Cue music, please, man. Show.